நடப்பாவீங்களா?
A very good evening to one and all. I extend a warm welcome to each one of you. Honorable Animal Husbandry Department Director Dr. G. Lata Mangeshkar, beloved Dean Dr. V. Sayan, guest speakers for the day Dr. S. Ramkumar, Dr. M. Senthil Kumar, Dr. Sudhakar, veterinary assistant surgeons, faculty of River, dignitaries, guests, and every veterinarian who have gathered here on this occasion to celebrate the World Veterinary Day 2023, organized by the Department of Animal Husbandry and Animal Welfare, Government of Puducherry, and Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Veterinary Education and Research, Puducherry. We shall start our program with the Tamil Thai Vazhathu, so I kindly request everyone to stand. World Veterinary Day is celebrated on the last Saturday in April annually with an aim to raise awareness about veterinarians and their utmost devotion to animal health, welfare and public health. This event is observed to honor and recognize the tireless efforts and perseverance to protect the health and safety of both animals and the populace. This World Veterinary Day lets all recognize and value the role of veterinarian in the society. Let us light the lamp symbolizing life, happiness, prosperity and knowledge. I request Dr. M. Senthil Kumar and Dr. Sudhakar to join the dignitaries on the dais to light the lamp. I now request our Dean, Dr. V. Serian, to welcome and honor our guest, Dr. G. Lata Mangeshkar, Director of Department of Animal Husbandry and Animal Welfare, Puducherry. I request our Dean, Dr. V. Serian, to welcome the gathering.
Good evening, everybody. It's a proud privilege. Before I start my welcome address, let me wish all of you 2023 World Veterinary Day today. At the outset, let me welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Lata Mangeshkar, Director, Animal Husbandry as well as Animal Welfare Department, Government of Puducherry, and the Associate Patron, Dr. Avinash Lakavar, and all the head of the departments, and most importantly the Speaker, Professor Ram Kumar, and Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, the Joint Director, Animal Husbandry and Animal Welfare Department, and Dr. Sudhagar, the President of Pondicherry Veterinary Council, and my dear students, and most importantly the veterinarians from various parts of Puducherry who have gathered here to celebrate or mark the World Veterinary Day. Being a veterinarian, we all should feel proud. At abroad, when you go, you have an opportunity to visit, you know, like the veterinarians come first in the gazetted list. When you go, even during the, I know like Professor Ram Kumar and Gopalakrishnan Ayasar and a couple of others might have visited abroad. You know that even during the immigration also you can feel the difference what a veterinarian receives. That is the type of novel profession we all do, and it's very essential for us to believe that we are doing a novel job first of all. We need to be clear in our minds and thoughts, like we should feel we should feel proud being a veterinarian. This is very, very important. That is an important message it is. So like, I welcome you all for this wonderful gathering, because I believe that, and then the director, the chief guest, and then the registrar of Pondicherry Veterinary Council, Sanjeev Kumar sir, we had a thorough discussion, because it is the need of our that we need to amalgamate ourselves, the Animal Husbandry Department as well as River, because River is an education institution and Animal Husbandry is a practicing institution where they go and reach to the grassroots level farmers, because at the end of the day, the animal welfare or the productivity improvement of the animal forms a significance as far as the economy of Puducherry as well as the country as a whole. You know, like India is an agriculture-oriented country. The major chunk of its economy comes from agriculture and allied sector, particularly the livestock. You know that with several devastating occurrences which play a negative role on the productivity of the animals, and particularly to say about the climate change in that perspective, the veterinarians play a very significant role as far as ensuring the economy of the country is concerned in such a way that the sustainable livestock production or the precision livestock farming, the sciences keeps changing. Like I'm sure like Professor Ram Kumar going to speak in depth about what is the reformation the veterinary profession has taken over the year, because it's very essential for us to believe. There is a primary difference, you know, like we veterinarians don't value ourselves. You know, in comparison to the medicos as well as the veterinarian, we stand tall. That's the reason at abroad we have been listed first in the gazetted list officer. We should feel pride in being a veterinarian first of all. The thing is that they don't have a multi-diversified facility like us, and then but then we do have, we will take anything, like we have a diversified job opportunities as far as the veterinarians are concerned. Like you say any private pharmaceutical company, vaccine production units, and you can become an assistant professor in the teaching line, or you can become a scientist in the research side, or you go abroad, and there are several opportunities are there, and there are a lot of biological companies are there, there are a lot of farms, then pet shops, etc., etc. And then also you can start with the BBSc and go for practicing, and you open your own clinics. Such a vast, diversified job opportunities no any other field can have. Lot of field production unit, etc., etc. I can keep on listing that. That is an advantage being a veterinary profession. I know like it's a very tough subject on the earth, because there's a great saying that if you are completing a BBSc and AH, there is nothing, any other subject that you can't do on the earth. That is the scenario that prevails primarily because of our dedicatedness to understand what the subject needs, subject in the sense like our beloved animals. Like that is what we are all standing here to mark the Veterinarian Day, because we play an immense role in ensuring the animal welfare as well as the production point of view from the animal. There are crucial role the veterinarians are going to play in the near future. You know, like the World Health Organization clearly projects that the world population is on the rising. By 2050, it is expected to hit a 9.6 billion, which is quite alarmingly increasing, especially from the Southeast Asian countries' point of view. We don't have a very big controlled population. So as a result, like what is going to happen is that it's going to put a severe stress on the food production. And then thereby the food security is going to be a very big battle for us to tackle in the future. In that perspective, I believe the veterinarians are going to play an immense role. You know, like urbanization has taken its toll, and then the several biotechnological revolutions are taking place. As a result, what happens is that the shrinking pasture land is a major concern now. There is an estimate recently by the FAO which says that around 42% deficit of dry fodder and around 23.5% of deficit in green fodder is going to be a big cause of worry, especially from a livestock point of view. What is that we are going to do to safeguard these animal population, poor animal population? Because when we keep urbanization and then we construct, keep industries as well as the households, and where is the pasture land for the animals, especially when there is a predominantly extensive system of rearing is being practiced. It's very vital. We need to find an alternative feed resources. So in that way, that veterinarians are going to play an immense role. To feed the growing human population of 9.6 billion, you need to have an alternate sustainable strategies to be in place, so that we have a preparatory plans in place. The policymakers should work in tandem with all the stakeholders they are involved in livestock production. So as a result, when we have a plan, it is possible to tackle. Otherwise, it's going to be, you know, like the animal protein is going to be one of the important source to feed the growing human population, especially from the African and the Asian subcontinents. It's very essential, like therefore the veterinarian play a significant role. Don't neglect the profession, because you should feel pride that we are all veterinarians, and that should be a sense of belongingness coming forward to that. I made a point like what is the striking difference between the medicos and the veterinarians. You know, like you see the profession, they will be very organized. I'm sorry, like I'm not criticizing here on the day of veterinarian. We need to believe ourselves like where we are faltering in comparison to them. Because, for example, we need to be punctual, because a program should start in time, it should be starting on the time. So like I know like it's very difficult, but then the point here is that we need to understand our role in developing the next generation as well as the society. That is where we falter in comparison to the medicos, I believe, because I've been traveling across, I know what is the real scenario prevails like. When an announcement comes from the head of the office, it could be anything, but then we need to be on time here so that the program goes. We should value the time of each and everybody, because that is the way we can go on to implement our strategies, and then we can put in our hard work that is required to ensure animal welfare as well as the food security for the future. In that perspective, these are the small traits that we need to inculcate and then imbibe in ourselves, so that we can make a difference for this country. Because we have got enough from this country, and as a veterinarian, you know, like the huge numbers we are in, and then we play an immense role. You know, like even the pandemic time, the veterinarians played a significant role as far as tackling the sudden pandemic into concern, especially the COVID-19. So like various places that our doctors have been deployed to tackle the issue, because we came in handy. That is the type of human resources we are all, and we should feel pride in saying that we are a veterinarian. So in that way, like I really address you all with the pride that we should feel a veterinarian. I have a collaborator from Italy, Professor Nicola Lastera, and a couple of our students have witnessed once he was talking. Like any forum he goes, first he speaks about, because like today a lot of animal science people occupy the top positions in the world as far as the veterinary science is concerned. But then that is what he used to tell a lot about. I have seen him some 7, 8, even I have invited him personally to India thrice. The first thing he speaks about is that when he goes for a platform to deliver his talk, he said, I feel pride in being a veterinarian. That clearly differentiates him from the others. That is what I used to say, like when he says that type of, and a sense of energy comes from within us, like we should believe that we are veterinarians, we are topmost than the others. That also brings along with that a sense of responsibility for us to deliver back to society, so that we live through our animals and we play an immense role in safeguarding them, ensuring their welfare and then their health condition, and then we see that they produce very optimally, so that largest milk producer in the world we are. Like how it is possible? Because of our poor animal kingdom. So like, although there are not great resources available with us to feed them in comparison to the Western countries, but still we have indigenous germplasm which could tackle the issue. That is the reason, like around 210 million ton, and now in the current status, which is well over our requirement we are having. That is primarily because we have a very indigenous germplasm that need to be conserved. More such type of effort, especially from the genetics point of view, need to be the way forward, especially for a country like India, because we need to deliver to the country in terms of improving the production efficiency of our indigenous germplasm. It is a bottom-top approach, that is improving the production potential of an indigenous germplasm rather than bringing from, because I believe with my limited research, like through the crossbreeding program, we really lost our production potential of our indigenous germplasm. So it's an important, like from a genetics perspective, like we need to concentrate on, because we have an immense genetic pool with us, but then we need to invest more on them, because when the Western countries have taken our animals, and then what year they are producing 6 to 8 liters a day, they are producing 20 to 28 liters of a day on average in Brazil and US. Our Nellore cattle, or the Sahiwal cattle, you name anything. But then why we did not exploit those germplasm here for? That is the reason, because we failed in our breeding policy. The breeding policy need to be redefined, keeping all the devastating effect the animals are currently facing. So that is the need of our now. We need to go for more marker-assisted selection, where we need to have amalgamation of production trait, adaptation trait, as well as the most important buzzword, the methane emission. That need to be also identified, more traits governing methane production, so that this should be the amalgamation of production, adaptation and low methane emission trait, which could be the way forward for producing an animal which can adapt and produce optimally, and then there will be less energy loss through the reduced methane production. That should be the way forward approach. And I urge these students, they are present over here, you have taken a novel profession of veterinary science, so it's very vital that you need to understand that you have chosen one of the best opportunity available before you. That need to be your pride in saying that, and then you are all going to be the pillars of strength for this country in the near future. The opportunities are diversified, and you go and chase your dream and then try to overcome your obstacles and then reach there and then serve this poor animal kingdom. So with this few message, I once again welcome all the people who have come from Animal Husbandry Department, especially because I really wanted such type of collaboration to be taking place very actively between Animal Husbandry Department, because Madam Lata Mangeshkar speaks a lot for River in all the platforms, wherever she goes, because we join together and we see that the students' interests are getting safeguarded in that way. And then I take this opportunity to thank her personally, because a lot of effort she puts in the budget meetings and other things, so that she helps us in terms of getting the required funding for running the institute in a very smooth manner. In that way, like we also extend whenever she calls, like for the vaccine production and other thing, we are hoping in our internists as much as possible. I have never said no to her. Whatever the help that is required from the college, immediately we are deploying the number of human resources that may be required for them to address the need, because at the end of the day, we are all working together for a common cause, that is safeguarding the animal population in the state. So this is the message we wanted to take it when we culminate from here and move from here. We should see that we are all under one family, under the umbrella of agriculture, and especially the Animal Husbandry Department and Animal Welfare Department, as well as the River, our own college, forms an integral part of this for taking this mission forward of working for the growth and development of our livestock population. With these few words, I once again welcome each and every one of you present over here, and I'm sure that a lot of experts have come to deliver, to signify the importance of the veterinarian before us, and then I will leave the platform to them to start the lecture series. Thank you so much.
Thank you sir, for your words of wisdom and encouragement for all the veterinarians here. World Veterinary Day is celebrated to honor the endeavors of veterinary professionals globally in augmenting animal health and welfare. This event brings the global veterinary community together to assist each other in a better way. This year's theme for World Veterinary Day 2023 is promoting diversity, equity and inclusiveness in veterinary profession. I invite our speaker for the day, Dr. S. Ramkumar, former Dean and Professor of Veterinary and Animal Husbandry Extension Education, River, to deliver his speech.
Respected Dean, Director, Associate Patron, President of the State Veterinary Council, Registrar of the Veterinary Council, my colleagues working in the college and in the field as practitioners, and dear students. It's a great pleasure to share some thoughts on how best we can actually perform as a veterinarian. As he was rightly saying, Dean, he was putting into perspective one of the most important things, that we need to believe whom we are. The profession is neutral. The profession, any profession in the world is neutral. They are stable, they are neutral. We are what we do to the profession. If we feel we are good, profession gives us. If we ourselves are doubtful that we are not that good, we are always going to be doubtful. Profession is noble. Any profession, I am not saying veterinary, any profession for that matter, he has made it very clear. On any work anyone does in this world, with the full involvement, basically. That's always welcome. So that's the first belief I think we should have. With this, I just go to a few points. I will not take much of the time, but I thought I should share with you what I write sometimes. So, few points I will talk to you. One thing is about the theme, what we are actually talking about, that is promoting diversity, equity and inclusiveness in the profession. I will start from behind. Inclusiveness is what we see in this hall, in which the professionals from different fields are there, students are there, internees are there, and all are one, basically vets. So that's where we start with. So we are all vets, but diverse in our performances in different capacities. But our starting point is veterinary. I am a veterinarian, he is veterinarian. I think everybody should be a veterinarian over here. So that's absolutely amazing. In that role, what are the prospects that you have throughout the world? You have got any number of examples actually, which I am not going in. So that is the first part I would like to throw light into. Well, we can talk about the inclusiveness in different ways, which I just mention as I go, because I am going through one of the most important things, what I feel that we should have a perspective of how we move in life, basically, as a profession, depends upon four basic things. One is the time, I call it as time. Second one is the technology. Third one is the territory. And fourth one is the policy. Wherever we are, whether we are a student, whether we are a teacher, whether we are a professional or a practitioner or a practicing veterinarian, anyone for that matter in the world is actually positioned in between this, the time, technology and territory, 3 T's and 1 policy. The 3 T's I am not going to explain much, but what I am trying to say is, if we can position ourselves, at what time are we living? Are we living up to that time is the question. I may be living in 2023, but am I living up to the 2023 is a different question. That is the time. You can think over it, because it takes a lot of time to explain. So time is one factor. Second one is territory. Where are we in this globe? Are we in Puducherry? Are we in Minnesota? Are we in Perth? Are we in Arctic? Are we in Africa? So that also elaborately we need to know, because every place has got its own uniqueness in agriculture, culture, any aspect that you are talking about in the development. Are we aware of the developments in other territories? That is the second question. So are we up to the time that we are living? Are we aware of what is happening in other territories is another question. Need not that you should be knowing everywhere, but at least the aspects that we are studying, we are doing. If I am practicing some veterinary practice in the field, I should be knowing what is happening in another part of the world as far as this case is concerned. How does another vet does it in another place? So it's very interesting actually for you to improve. So that's the second point, territory. The third one is technology, which I am not explaining much, which you know. Application of technology in the profession. Whether you are a teacher, okay, you are applying a lot of pedagogic technologies. As a clinician, you use a lot of new technologies. I'm not going into that because that's a big area which you are all aware of. And it's very, very fast improving in the last 20 years. The last 2 decades, it is seeing a remarkable accelerated progress in technologies. And are we up to that technologies? And are we as capable as the youngsters in applying these technologies? I'll tell you that also. Because I generally say there are 2 generations you can say. One is the pre-Google generation and the post-Google generation. Many of us are in the post-Google. Majority should be in this group should be actually the post-Google generation. Minority in this hall should be, I think, in the pre-Google generation. I'm very sure the application of technology, the mind of application of technologies and the speed, acceleration, all those things are going to be better with the post-Google generation. There's a lot for the pre-Google generation to learn from them. Are we going to change that mindset in learning, which we call as a co-learning concept basically in education, which is very important, especially I would say in the teaching profession, if you look at it, basically. So that's another one that I would say. And the fourth one is the policy. So based upon all these things, the government decides, okay, this is the policy based on that. So let me say, if you take this as time, this as technology, this as territory, you have to position yourself where you are. This is what you need to do in a simple thumb rule model if you want to. Like the Fleming's rule, if you take it. You have to see where you are. And then only you start with your profession. And that's where the policy comes into the picture. Even if you want to position, policy will say, no, you move towards this side. Even if I don't want, you have to do it because that's a policy. That's a policy in which we all respect and we move ahead. 4 things: time, technology and territory policy. Now, the second one is that, see, this is the first point, because always think that you have got these 3 dimensions in which you should place yourself. Wherever you are working, where am I placed in this? Am I up to the time, up to the technologies, up to the territory, that's where it is, and abiding by the policy as a profession. Number 2, if you look at a veterinarian, you have got 2 elements basically. One is the personal life and the other one is the professional life. You have got 2 lives. Any profession have got for that matter. But how do we actually balance it? Because in personal life also you have got the 2 things which are very important, which runs in both. One is the values that you hold on. Number 2 is the commitment that actually you have it. 2 things. And here, there is no choice between these 2. As far as the values and commitment are concerned, even if it is in family or even if it is in the profession. If you are compromising on this, then it's going to be a problem. Let us say the profession, you have got 2 things if you can look at. You can have a practicing profession, like people working in different fields. You can have a non-practicing profession also who is not practicing. Like typical example would be the government. In the government, they do practice and they work with the schemes, projects and administration. It's a big work. It's not an easy task, basically. In teaching, the same thing happens in a university or in a college. You have got the practice and then you have got projects, research, administration. You have got lots of work going on. How far you will be able to balance these 2? And this is again, I would say, a type of inclusiveness that you need to bring in your life. Because this is required. A balance is required between all these things. So this is one actually that is happening. Now the third one I would say the third one I would say is the performance. Your performance basically is to improve the competence. It's not the competence is always there. We have the stock knowledge, the stock competence is there. But how do we improve? And the improvement, one of the important things is a seminar like this, wherein you come and listen to other people, see other people, talk to them, what they say, what do they do, why do they do. That's one of the opening points in competence. Yes. Other than that, you can have your own programs in which you have workshops, trainings and all, in which you go and update your competence. And the competence improvement again will bring you back to the time, technology and territory which I have been talking about. That lifts you towards that. Okay, they talk about how do we actually go up, up and up. This is not a one-day process. This is a daily process. That means every day I need to know what is actually happening in the field, in the life, in the society. It goes on like that. Now, one thing I would say, as again what Dean was starting about, believe in yourself, because the reason is everybody is a leader, I always feel. But how best you bring it out is with you. If I don't want, I can be ignorant and just sit carelessly somewhere and I'm not bothered about it. But if you really want, I will involve in it. I will be active, responsible and intuitive and perseverant. A veterinarian's qualities. It just goes to the veterinarian's qualities as a leader. If veterinarian's qualities are not different from another leader's qualities, it's all the same. But this is what actually I think, because I personally feel when you think about the inclusiveness and equity, if you look at everything in the world, we are dealing with the diverse species of animals and living beings. So diverse. And what we see is not we see in our students, but in animals also, that every other life has something of our life. That is the way in which actually we look at the things. We should be looking at it. Because you look at something and it's not different from us. Please understand that. This is the thing that we see, the person that we see, the animal that we see, the tree that we see, definitely has something what we have, some element we have. Probably it is recycled or rotated. So this is a comprehensive thing at a philosophical level. I think veterinarians should know, which will bring out their leadership and their commitment to the whole thing that is actually going. Next point I would like to say is specifically for the teachers basically, because there's a mixture of teachers also. I would also like to say, it's for all teachers, that we have now moved from the earlier concept of knowledge blasters to wayfinders. You are the pathfinders helping the students actually how to move forward. Rather than showing our knowledge and then establishing the knowledge. Knowledge is important. Knowledge has been important. Maybe 30 years back, knowledge blasters were actually worshipped because job was not a problem. Simple. Now you have to find out yours. Because the world is like that. You have to be an entrepreneur. You have to find out your choice, everything. Number one. Number two, 37 years back when I started teaching, I still remember the first class I took for the veterinarians in 1985 batch in Kerala. I was talking on information poverty. That was the topic, information poverty. Now I talk to the students, the last batch probably I am taking, on information overload. See the 37 years difference what it has happened. We have moved from information poverty and at one time talking, discussing, making notes on information poverty. Today we are actually looking at information overload. How do you manage information? Because we are lost in information basically now. So the role of the teacher is actually to manage that information to the students. You may not be able to, you need not be defining many things as what we are defining. You just Google and you will get the whole definition. At that time, there is no definition, you can get it from anywhere other than the teacher or the book he or she refers. There is no other way. Today, no. The students come out with different definitions and tell, Sir, 20 years back it was like this, and today this is the definition. Sir, is there any change? Then you may refer your note here exactly. It's 10 years old, so new has come. Now, what I'm trying to say is that's how the world is. And we need to change. I am telling the last 5-10 years it is like that. It's not a wrong thing or a good thing I am telling. It's a phenomenon that is happening for which we need to change from the knowledge blasters to wayfinders of students. How do you guide them? How do you do them? And of which I always feel that there are two things. You have to adapt to change. Veterinarians, that it will include the diversity and the inclusiveness to create the equity. We need to change. And change is a constant in which you have to move faster. That's again another important thing. Many of you, of course not majority here because majority of students, maybe 50% of us have children, maybe some are grandparents are also there. So they all know how they would have changed for their children and their grandchildren. I'm very sure about it. Whether you like it or not, we change. Because you know that what they want is good and you change it. Whereas why can't we change for the wants of students? It's the same. If they are genuine, if they are new, if it is oriented towards the wellness, probably you are learning a lot from the students. I always say this. And utilize that actually as the best option that you have when you have, and that's a blessed role that the teacher has. You can always have the slice of the world inside the classroom. You need not go out to know what is the attitude of the youth outside. Every year you can see the past and find out what's the difference. What would be the difference from 85 to, for example, 2023. You need to only go to the class and just be with them. You'll understand. That's a wonderful thing. Now, so adapt to change as fast as possible. Now, 3 more things I will tell. One is there is a concept which I have always believed. I believe that veterinary profession is the profession which has the unique nature of fast cognitive shifting. I call it as cognitive means would be knowledge. Shifting from one knowledge to another. You look at the practice of a doctor, veterinarian. He starts morning with a rabbit case. Immediately there will be a dog case waiting. Then there will be a buffalo waiting. Then he will have to treat another one. Then he will have to go to some other village. Some other he calls in the phone. He goes. The variety of cases, the diversity of cases, if you look at, I did not talk about the diversity of the sex, age and species of animals. That is another one. So, if you look at all these things, a good veterinarian switches from one diagnosis and treatment to immediately another one, which has sometimes no connection with the rest. In medicals it doesn't happen, because it's all linked. This is the only profession which challenges your capacity of cognitive shifting, which slowly you learn and never understand that you are doing it. Tremendous potentiality is there with every veterinarian if he or she is a veterinarian. And that helps you in your life also, indirectly, which you may not be knowing. The ability to shift. Shift from one diagnosis, one type of thinking, one operation to another operation, or one medical proportion to another one. Once you talk about, for example, the medical, then to the production sides, you look at the variety and the diversity. That ability is actually where there with the veterinarians. This I always respect it. If you have not thought about it, please think about it. That will bring your belief back to you. Nobody else can do this. They will try. It's very difficult for others to do this because of the number of species, number of types, and not so ideal conditions where you work. This is also another important thing. So I go to the field and okay, I have learned a good surgery or a medical practice, but the place where I go into a village or rural area doesn't have any of these facilities. Not so ideal. You cannot leave and come. That is a challenge in which you improvise yourself. Again, a cognitive shifting. A wonderful characteristic that every veterinarian definitely possesses. Believe in that. That is one of the things I would like to tell. Another one which I would like to talk to is about, I call it a sandwiched inspiration. Everybody has got inspiration sometimes. People are inspired to do things. Sometimes you will get sandwiched in between, like a sandwich. Your boss is there and your junior is there. Your inspiration is there in between. So how do you do it? Many people say, I'm very good at it. All are good in many things. I got a wonderful idea, I want to do this. Okay, boss says, keep it on one side. I've asked you to do this. You do that first. So that inspiration goes down. But my feeling is, you should retain, sustain this inspiration, whether it is sandwiched or not. That is requires perseverance. That again is an important thing. Because if you are really inspired, you can never keep it on a side. Let it be sandwiched, no problem. Or you want to do something and the junior is not helping. That also will trouble you actually, you are in between. So don't look for that ideal condition that it will work. World doesn't work in an ideal condition. World works in a condition which we try to make ideal. We are trying to make it ideal. So that means when you try to make it ideal, your complaints will be less. You will see only the solutions, not the problems. You tend to be like that after some time. So some they feel, okay, I don't have this, so I can't do it. No. If you can't, see, if you don't have it, you can't do it. Okay, are there alternatives of doing it? If you first itself say that actually I don't have it, so I don't have alternatives, you are closing your mind for opening for something else. This is the danger. That's the mindset basically. If you keep it open, okay, I have a problem, it's all right, but can I do something else? That's how you think. It's not that I have a problem, so I just close, I will not look. No, it's not like that. The world moves like that, so please think about this sandwiched inspiration which I am talking to you. And one more thing which I would say is a concept called as rethinking, which is going on in management, which is very important for us. Rethinking is a concept, I just put the term so that I thought more veterinarians will be there, but good for the students also. See, rethinking is a concept which is actually into the management side, which is widely used for improving their efficiencies. Think again, the same thing. It is not overthinking. Overthinking is a dangerous thing. Rethinking is the best thing that you can do. Rethinking is actually a process which starts from knowledge. So it's a concept that starts from the knowledge. It starts with the stage of humility basically. That means I don't know much. The world is too vast. That is humility, knowledge, with respect to knowledge. Okay, the rethinking with respect to knowledge. That's the humility. So humility will give you the curiosity to know why, what. Because I don't know much, I want to learn more. So you more into that, and from there you start discovering, experimenting, and again you understand actually you know less. That is the cycle. This is called as the rethinking cycle. Which I think you should. Adam Grant, a very famous management person, is there who has written Originals, the book, which is widely open now. Wonderful book. If somebody is interested, read it. It is applicable to every profession. It has got lots of application to veterinary science. Please look at it. You can see that. Now I close it by saying only a few things. Wonderful profession with all examples of diversity, equity, and inclusiveness included in that. You have got the time technology transfer which I was talking about, which position yourself, that is very important. Second concept I would say is every other life has something of our life, inclusiveness and equity. Third one, as I was telling about the teacher's role, cognitive shifting. One of the best cognitive shifters, the species in the world, is the veterinary profession and the species. Sandwich inspiration, concept of rethinking. Now with this I will close, but before that, because the registrar and director and our dean are there, I was talking to them just a little earlier. I would appreciate first the dean, director and the registrar and the president of the State Veterinary Council for arranging this function. Because this itself is a platform basically which coordinates you, tries to bring you together. That is the whole effort. They could have slept at home and send a message. But they wanted everyone together. Is actually they are trying to see a synergy in bringing all together your inclusiveness again, on how best actually it can be taken forward to put up some new models that can come forward. It's a wonderful concept. I hope it sustains and the dynamic president and the registrar comes out with more concepts of areas in which actually probably you could collaborate with the institute. Not only with this institute can facilitate interactions with other institutes, with the dean here, with a national and international reputation. Probably you could have trainings, and training is one aspect that I was talking to them a little earlier. I was suggesting them competence building based upon what I call as short training. It's not actually short trainings, it is called as micro skill transfer. Rather than 1 day rather than 5 days, 6 days trainings, you find out the trainings which the veterinarians would like at a micro skill. You have got 5 steps, for example, in giving a medicine, for example, which is the most vital one with the veterinarians feel they want to refresh it. Go for a small training for them, and that is actually a micro skill training. Need not be all the steps, because veterinarians will know many of the steps, but would like to know, okay, I want to refresh this. Probably they are going to work on it on a brainstorming session and find out a list. The team is going to be working on it. So innovate on partnership building, which is going to be the future, because I tell you again, as a profession, if you want to move ahead, you have to move together. There is no doubt, because we all belong to the family of veterinarians. So if any as a veterinarian, as a profession, if you need to move ahead, it has to be together. It cannot be by divided ways, which is not possible, and you don't require. You can actually synthesize each other's capacities basically, and then improve the situation. And there's a great scope as far as Pondicherry is concerned to show an example to the other states. That's what actually I feel. So I'm extremely happy and obliged for the organizers for inviting me to give a talk on this. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you, sir, for giving us an overview and understanding the theme of World Veterinary Day. I request Director Dr. G. Lata Mangeshkar to felicitate Dr. S. Ramkumar with a memento and a certificate.
அது குடிங்கி விடுங்களா
We now have Dr. N. Senthil Kumar, Joint Director and Registrar of PSBC. I request him to come forward to deliver his speech.
இது புது இப்போ அவங்க ப்ரொஜெக்டர் காட்டணும்ல அந்த ப்ரொஜெக்டர் தெரியும் வரும் விஷயம் வருமே
Good evening, everybody. On the outset, I'd like to thank our beloved director, Dr. G. Lata Mangeshkar, for giving us this opportunity to deliver a speech on the World Veterinary Day 2023. I thank Dr. Shalyan, Dean River, for organizing this function in a nice manner. and delivering a wonderful keynote address. And I feel humbled and in all humility after a great oratorian like Dr. Ram Kumar has spoken and left with only few words to talk. Almost he has covered many areas which I have wanted to talk, but now I think I'll take up a different genre. I am Dr. M. Sendil Kumar. I graduated from Chennai Veterinary College 1986-1992, then did MBSc in Animal Nutrition. And the theme of this World Veterinary Day, promoting diversity, equity and inclusiveness in veterinary profession. I feel Radhakavas aka River is the first institution in the world to have diversified teaching in faculty and students as well. When Dr. Dean Savinarayan Nair first initiated this college, the staff, the faculty were from all over India. And that speaks of the diversity, the role of this veterinary college is diversity. Even now, they can have students. We are having students from all over even foreign students are being here, no sir? Yes. When we studied also at Madras Veterinary College, there were students from Singapore, Ceylon, Nepal, and African countries around the place. And we never felt they are alien to us. We had that oneness feeling, and wherever we go in India, especially in Tamil Nadu, in those days there was only one college. So all the 5 years above and below, almost 10 batches will be known to us. So wherever you go in Tamil Nadu, taking a tag that you are a veterinarian, you will get help from the veterinary field. That is the love and affection of our fellow brethren they shower upon us. So this college stands tall now after having so many years, almost 25 years they have crossed. And I congratulate all the students studying here, and I wish them all a beautiful success, a beautiful pathway in future. I've got a wonderful faculty, facilities, and you can shine well in future. As our Dean and Dr. Ram Kumar were talking, the veterinarian has multivarious opportunities in the field. You can be a researcher, much has been said, so we can skip it. And I'll go into the next slide. Let us digress a little from our meanwhile, I welcome Dr. Tamil Selvan, our senior colleague and former joint director of Animal Husbandry, who has joined here. Thank you, sir. And I welcome Dr. Tulsiram, Municipal Veterinary Officer. And also I thank all the veterinarians, students, internees, faculty present here, including my wife, Dr. Uma Maheshwari, who on a Saturday afternoon to come and meet is really difficult. Where are we, who are we, how are we? When we compare ourselves in this entire vastness of this universe, the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, when you compare the size of the sun to a golf ball, it's only 1.5 inch diameter, a golf ball. The inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, compare to only the ballpoint pen's tip. And the outer planets, the gaseous giants, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, they compare themselves against the sun as a small bullet pellet. Have you seen that air gun bullet Having been in NCC, you would have seen that. Or you can just imagine the size of a pepper, small peppercorn. And our next solar system or the sun is, I think it is Centauri. To reach that, if you go by car, you may need 47,000 million years to see the expanse of the next sun to us. If you are in a hurry and you could take a spice jet, probably you will reach in 5 million years. So the next solar system itself is so vast and extensive. Think about the entire universe. Where do we stand? Our size is much smaller than a dust particle when we compare the universe and its extents. But what we do for promoting diversity, equity is justness, fairness, giving equal opportunity to everyone. This all is, as Dr. Ramkumar was telling, it is a right example of equity and inclusiveness. We all have gathered here for one sole reason, that we are brethren, veterinary brethren. Next slide, please. Oh, I can. Then why do we have this ego? If we have to be in equal status as veterinarians, two major stumbling blocks the veterinarians nowadays face. One is stress management, and the other one, ego clashes. As Sir was talking about that sandwich principle, your inspiration has to remain until you get an opportunity to take up to a higher level. Ego, we have to leave the ego. What will happen if ego versus? It will turn into arrogance. The slide speaks for itself, and I think I need no explanation. I think no explanation has to be given. Can anyone say among the students which is the most intelligent part in our body? A clue I can give it is all put together 210 grams in the body of an average male. Anyone can guess? Maybe wrong, no issues. My classmate Julia is here. That's another clue. Pardon? Come out. What is that? Nobody is going to come and bang you. Brain. It is almost 1.25 kg up to 1.3, 1.4 kg. No, sir. All put together 210 grams only.
Don't get me to the thumb. It has got no bones so that it keeps banging always.
Yes, madam, you are right. As far as you are right. Right, you are right. Always right. But no. It's a gene. It's your genetics gene. That's why I indicated Dr. Lilia. Gene is the most intelligent part in your system. 1 gram of your dried gene material can contain 1 zettabyte of zettabyte. You know byte, zettabyte, where it comes? After kilo it is mega, then giga, then beta, hexa, then only zeta comes. So how much information it can store? It can store information for more than even, digital decay is more than 500 years. If it is in an ambient temperature, coolness, it can store information for even several thousand years. Your Neanderthal genes are there. They are able to study and decipher. Suppose if we feel, how come our child is super brilliant while we both are not that much? Maybe some 500 years ago, one of our forefathers has expressed his gene. Maybe he was far brilliant, now he is reborn. So gene is the most intelligent part. The gene, survival of the fittest, as Darwin says, expresses itself in all possible ways so that you become dominant habitat. There you can see in the wildlife as well. Wildlife is another wonderful opportunity, sir, as sir was telling, for you to shine, outshine. There is a depth of staff in the wildlife. Sir, are you having any plans to open a wildlife faculty? Because there is a more need for forest veterinarians and zoo veterinarians. They are very rare, great and very interesting job too. Similarly, our brain, all put together, your brain and data content of your genes. For one person, the entire volume to be what I can say, equal as half of libraries in USA put together the data, volume of books and pages. Your one body can have so much data. Your brain and genes put together. With so much potential, how much are we using? We want a resale value for everything. We don't want to use anything. We want to, even if we get a car or vehicle, nalla resale value car. Or when also we are doing the same, we want a resale value. We don't want to put into use. If you put your brain into potential, full potential, there is no limit. Even the vast expanse of the universe is smaller when compared to your thinking capacity of the brain. So veterinarians, you can outshine everyone if you put your brain to full use. Then stress, another factor. The simplest and possiblest way to relieve your stress. They say music, therapy, yoga, hobby, meditation, nature, time management, dancing, singing, sports, watching your favorite movie, eating your most wanted cuisine, hotel. You never feel stressed out when you do all these things. Is it? You never get stressed out when you watch a cricket match, when you play cricket. But you get stressed out when you sit in the class, especially animal nutrition, extension, everything. All dry surgeries. Not to forget anatomy and biology. But it all depends upon the faculty who handles the class. We have wonderful teachers in those subjects that are in animal nutrition. That is why I am standing before you as an animal nutritionist. Madam's knowledge of animal nutrition is very vast, beyond the expanse of the universe.
Oh my God. No, we can go back home safely, no problem. We can say all these things.
So, we all lost our stress release habits. When we were children, there was no stress. Monthly once when the progress report reaches home, unless otherwise there was no stress. We enjoyed our playful days. We were playing in the hot sun. We never felt about the heat. We never needed a AC. We were playing in May in 2 o'clock hot summer, we never had a sweat. We were reading magazines, we were watching movies, we never felt stressed. Why? Because you got yourself involved. You were interested in what you were doing. Now, if something is thrust upon you, I wholeheartedly believe that almost 99% of this gathering of students, I think they took veterinary by choice, not by chance. That's the reason I went for BAC, not because I wanted to become a veterinarian. It was thrust upon me. We are also trusting the same on our generation. We want our children to be only doctors, engineers, nothing else. Oh, if BBC is not that, then okay, you take BBC. That attitude should change. You should select your field, at least in post-graduation, you select your choice of field you want to shine, which interests you more, which gives an inner thirst for you to go for more. Veterinarians should always shine in the field in which they are specialized. As Sir was telling, Medico, I know one Medico, he is my classmate, and he is an orthopedic surgeon. But when his son is not well, he will immediately refer to another doctor because he doesn't know anything other than orthopedics. A simple paracetamol, he will immediately consult his another fellow physician. But it's not the case with veterinary. You will treat horses, donkeys, you will treat poultry. At times, a porcupine was brought. I knew nothing about it, but it came, we treated it somehow. In those days, we didn't have any Google, as Sir was telling. Immediately, we have to go to our library, search for something, whatever is there. Then brain, we treated it. We do not know what drugs are allergic. So that's why our field is so diversified, but you can take one field, one area, and you can shine well. Rediscover the child in you. You will pass all the stress. You like the job, there will be no stress. If you do whatever you like, to your liking, there is no stress. So try hard to get what you want, or else you have to get satisfied with what you get. Both in marriage also, pre-marriage, faculty also, physicians. Try hard to get what you want, or else you have to be contented with what you get. So discover the child in you and never leave that childishness in you to die. Even if you are 90 years old, you should be a child inside you so that you can enjoy it. To relieve your stress from the field and in education as well. Sir, I was telling another, most of the married men here will agree. Conflict management comes very well to them after years of experience. Be not up and down for any conflict, and it is managed well. But in work situation in future, you will definitely have conflict, as Sir was telling. There will be conflict between you as a PG student and between your guide. Sometimes, none of the four-legged creatures gave any trouble. In my entire 30 years of experience, none of the four-legged creatures gave any trouble. Only two-legged creatures. Either through bosses, or through a lawyer staff, or general public, politicians. So, conflict management will be there, and you have to come out of it for being a successful veterinarian, for being a successful administrator as well. If you are going to be in a non-veterinary job also, there will be a lot of conflicts. In a veterinary job, as long as you are in practice, You are the boss, only the animal and the client will be there to deal. Unless and otherwise, from my angle as a registrar of veterinary council, if we get into some trouble only, we will have conflicts. So choose wisely your profession. But nowadays I can see how my children are burnouts, especially these software people, techies. Why I know why these people are coming in, thronging to Pondicherry every weekend from Bangalore or Hyderabad, everywhere. They want to get released from the stress and tension they are facing from their HR and their bosses. So all collaborating and accommodating and compromise is the best way for conflict management. Whereas avoiding and competing will help in certain areas. Suppose if you know only this solution is possible, then competing will help. Always collaborate, collude, gel well with your bosses, with your sub-staff, and with your fellow veterinarians and friends, also with the family, and try to avoid conflict. Conflict resolution skills, assertiveness. At a certain point, you have to be assertive. In some areas, only assertiveness works. Then, facilitation, you have to talk. First of all, if there is a conflict, you have to be bold enough to face it. Never shy away from the conflict. You can do mediation also as well, either with a third person mediation, or you and your boss can talk and solve the issue. That can be even creative problem solving. And you have to be responsible also. You could not shy away, you should not shy away from your responsibilities and accountabilities. And your integrity should be maintained. Then listen to the problem. Most of the married wives, when they go for a divorce, say that he is not listening to me. This is not from my view, it's from a lawyer view. So listen, active listening. Listen to what other speakers say. I don't know how much you are listening now. Then feel sympathy and empathy. Hope you know the difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is feeling pity for others' problems or sorrows, whereas empathy is getting into his shoes and feel as if it is your problem. Suppose if you have never had a headache, if your friend says he is having a very hard headache, you can only sympathize. But if you have already felt a headache yourself, then you can empathize because you have already felt. So feel empathy. Get into the shoes of your subordinate or your boss and think. Both ways you have to do. Get into your boss's shoe and think from his angle, as well as get into your subordinate's shoe and think from his angle. Maybe at times they may be right. Then the conflict will go away. That is to hear both sides of the history, to see both sides of the coin, not from only one angle. If nothing goes wrong, even meditation goes wrong, go sit and meditate. Meditation is the next stage. This is one, you might have seen, some of you might have seen this. This is one famous quote from Gaur Gopal Das from ISKCON. He's a electrical engineer come management guru. Do you have a problem in life? No? Then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do something about it? Yes. Then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do anything about it? No. Then why worry? So don't worry about things. Don't get freaked out, stressed out, burnouts. Take things cool and light. எங்கிட்ட டாக்டர் மனோகர் ஒருத்தர் இருந்தார், சாருக்கு எது பிரச்சனை வாங்க டாக்டர் போகும் தலைவா எடுத்துருவாங்க. ஸோ யூ வில் சே சார் இல்லை சார் எந்த பிரச்சனைக்கு போனாலும் தலைவா எடுத்துருவாங்க பார்த்துட்டு வாங்க பார்ப்போம் அப்படின்பாரு. ஸோ தேட் ஆட்டிடியூட் ஹெல்ப்ஸ். hope எல்லாருக்கும் தமிழ் I don't know. Then finally, the greatness of the nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals, veterinarians, teachers, faculty, gurus, everybody is treated. This is by our Pitaji, Deshapita. And he was, in all humility, he was the most humblest man we could ever see. Like he himself, Shastri Ji, the great Kamaraj Ji, all very humble people. Humility develops you to reach higher platforms. Thank you. I once again thank our director and the dean and all the staff, students, faculty of the river for wonderfully organizing this event and giving us this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening and humorous session and how to tackle stress and conflict as a veterinarian. I now request our dean to felicitate Dr. M. Senthilkumar. Next, we have Dr. A. Sudhakar, President of PSVC, to speak on this occasion.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah. I thank the Dean, Director, and the students who organized this program. And actually, I am very much happy to be here after almost 22 years to be standing this stage. Because I passed out from this college only. And I used to be actively organizing all such programs in those when I was a speaker, I was in the cooperative stores, we have EC, credit cooperative stores, I was there. So we used to continuously organize some programs. Basically, I am now animal geneticist from a veterinarian. I did a PG in animal genetics and a PhD in animal genetics. I am working with the National Dairy Development Board. We are working basically on genetic improvement of animals. And genetic improvement actually, whatever genetic improvement, bull selection or AI-related activities, whatever is happening in the country, we act as a nucleus of the whole of the activities. If those who are aware of this Rashtriya Global Mission or genomic selection or IVF activities, most of the activities are starting from our NDDB. I am actually working with genomic selection. I am more with this buffalo genome for those who are aware of genetics, genome and all. I was working with the buffalo genome, the latest reference genome our team developed actually. So coming to this present day theme of World Veterinary Day 2023, actually it's very happy to be here. The reason being, in our college actually, it's by design we have this diversity, equity and inclusiveness. Like Senthilkumar sir was telling, from the beginning, the first thing ensured the faculty is recruited from almost every state in the country, and so we had a highly cosmopolitan culture, so we had better exposure, better understanding of the things, and that actually really helped in order to learn new things. It's not just about this diversity, why it is to bring in inclusiveness, you should have diversity. Then only we can understand what our what the clients or farmers are and what they expecting or the consumers are expecting. So that way, by design, it was ensured we have what the people from every state of it. So when we went outside, we always had what to say access to some help, because I can ask somebody here, they can contact some other faculty members and other veterinary college. That way, it was very easy for us actually, and that's actually a gift for everybody sitting over here. Next thing is what is it? Coming to this inclusiveness for this veterinary profession. So there are two ways what to say our profession. What is it? We are dealing. One is what is it? Providing veterinary care. When providing veterinary care, we often deal with what is poor and marginalized people, especially the farmers. So only when we have a diverse community and who can empathize, like Sindhu Master was telling, who can empathize with what to say the feeling of other person, then we can what to say effectively provide the treatment. So to ensure ensure what the better treatment or better service to the farmer, or what to say maybe somebody who's having a pet animal. So we need to promote this culture of diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. And also we need to develop what to say new products, services which are more affordable, and for what to say understanding what the requirement of the society itself, we need to have people who are with diverse backgrounds actually. Often we are, though today is veterinary, we always talk about veterinary. We need to actually work in what is teams which are having multi-skills to understand and to bring in what is synergies of skills between different professions. So we also need to think about how we can as in the veterinary college, since today we are having the session in the college, we should think about products, how to innovate some new products or services so that we better deal with the farmers, or maybe some product related to meat or milk or whatever it is. So this way, I think this theme which we are dealing is very essential as of now, and I don't want to take much time here. I didn't prepare much because my session was supposed to start at 3:40 and end at 3:50, and by 4 o'clock it was tea time, and it is 4:50. I don't want to prolong. So I just request the dean and everybody to continue the culture of promoting this diversity, so that there is an opportunity for every student, so they feel inclusive. Nobody should feel because our college from the beginning, I know nobody knows what to say, any background, nobody inquires. Like I have gone to many states of the country where when you say your name, they will inquire about so many things, your background. In Pondicherry, that culture is still not there, I am sure. So that way we are promoting inclusiveness. I request the dean, we should continue this culture of promoting this diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your experience. I request our Dean, Dr. V. Serian, to kindly felicitate Dr. A. Sudhakar. chief guest for the day, Director of Animal Husbandry Department and Animal Welfare, Puducherry, Dr. G. Lata Mangeshkar, to address the gathering.
Respected all professors, respected joint director, retired joint director, and our registrar, and the president of veterinary council, and our dear doctors and students. Good evening to everyone. Really, first of all, I convey my happy World Veterinary Day wishes to you all. And I'm very happy and very proud to be here to celebrate our World Veterinary Day jointly with our sister concerned institution. So I'm very happy. And also, every year a theme has fixed with regard to World Veterinary Day. I think for this year the theme, we have taken steps to follow the theme. I think, am I correct? Already we have taken. I would like to share my experience in Tamil. Shall I continue? அதாவது சாதாரணமாக எந்த ஒரு செயல் நம்ம நடத்தணும்னாலும் அதுக்கு ஏதாவது ஒரு இனிஷியேட்டிவ் நமக்கு வேணும், அது ஒரு என்கரேஜ்மெண்ட் வேணும். இப்போ இந்த அளவுக்கு நம்ம அந்த உயர்ந்து வந்திருக்கோம் அப்படின்னாக்கா அது என்னுடைய பாஸ்ட் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸே நான் சொல்லலான்னு இருக்கிறேன். நான் பிறந்த ஊர் வந்து திருவாரூர், தஞ்சாவூர் அடுத்த திருவாரூர் நான் சொல்லுவேன். நான் படித்த காலத்தில் என்னோட சீனியர்ஸ்லாம் இங்கே ப்ரொஃபஸராக இருக்கிறாங்க. டாக்டர் உமா மகேஸ்வரி, டாக்டர் லிடியா, நாங்கள்லாம் எங்கள் காலேஜில் இருந்தோம். அந்த காலத்தில் சீனியர்னா அக்கான்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, லேடிஸ்னா ஜென்ஸாக இருந்தால் அண்ணன்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஆனால் இப்போ தான் ட்ரெண்டு மாறி போச்சு, இப்போ சார்னு சொல்கிற மாதிரி ஆச்சு. அந்த அளவுக்கு வந்து ஒரு இன்டிமசி இல்லாமல் போச்சு. அப்போ அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறப்போ நான் முதல்ல வந்து இந்த வெக்டரியை செலக்ட் பண்ணதே வந்து நான் வந்து ஒரு 1982 நான் 6வது படிக்கிறப்போ எங்கள் அப்பா அம்மா 2 பேரும் டீச்சர். அப்பா வந்து ஒரு எலிமெண்ட்ரி ஸ்கூல் ஹெச்எம், அம்மாவும் எலிமெண்ட்ரி ஸ்கூல் ஹெச்எம். நாங்கள் எல்லாம் எங்கள் அப்பா அம்மாட்ட தான் படித்தோம். நான் வந்து எங்கள் வீட்டில் ஒரு 5வது பிள்ளை, 5வது பெண்ணு. நான் படிச்சதப்போ எங்கள் அப்பா ஸ்கூல் அந்த காலத்தில் ஹெட் மாஸ்டர்ன்றதுனால அந்த ரெக்கார்ட் ஷீட்லாம் எழுதுறதுக்காக பச்சைங்களை எழுதுவாங்க. ஏன்னா அந்த காலத்தில் படிக்கிறப்போ வந்து நம்ம பேனாவே வந்து 5வது தான் கொடுப்பாங்க, இல்லை 6வது தான் பேனாவே எழுதுவோம். இப்போலாம் வந்து பிறந்த 6 மாதம் கை வந்தோடனே பெண்ணில் எழுத ஆரம்பிச்சிடுறாங்க. அப்போது நாங்கள் இங்கு பெண்ணில் தான் எழுதணும். அப்போ நான் 6வது படிக்கிற போது எங்கள் அப்பா வந்து பச்சை இங்கில் எழுதுவாங்க. அதை தெரியாமல் எடுத்து நான் ஹோம்ஒர்க் எழுதிட்டு போயிட்டேன். அந்த நான் 6வது படிக்கிறப்போ அது எங்கள் அப்பாவோட ஃப்ரெண்டு தான் ஒரு சார். அந்த காலத்தில் வந்து நம்ம ஏதோ பனிஷ்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கணும் அப்படின்னாக்கா பெஞ்சு மேலே ஏறி கையை பின்னாடி இப்படி கட்டிக்கணும், ஜெயில் கைதி மாதிரி. அப்போ ஸ்கேல் வச்சு அடிப்பாங்க. எதுக்கு ஹோம்ஒர்க் கேட்டாங்க, கணக்கு டீச்சர் ஹோம்ஒர்க் கேட்டாங்க, நம்ம வீட்டு மாலை எழுதிட்டு போயிட்டோம். ஏன் சார் இந்த பேப்பரை பார்த்தோன்னே தூக்கி எரிஞ்சிட்டு அடிக்கிறாருன்னு எனக்கு தெரியல, என்னவா இருக்கும், போய் உங்கள் அப்பாவை போய் கேளு அப்படின்னு சார் சொன்னார். அவ்வளோ அடி போட்டு ஸ்கேல் வச்சு சாப்பிட்டு எடுத்தாரு. அதோட வீட்டுக்கு வந்து எங்கள் அப்பா கிட்ட சொன்னேன், அப்பா அந்த சார் வந்து ஹோம்ஒர்க் காமிச்சப்ப நோட்டை காமிச்சேன், என்னை அடிச்சாருப்பா சார், என்னன்னு சொல்லலை, ஏதாவது வேணும்னா உங்கள் அப்பாட்ட போய் கேள்வி சொன்னார். இன்னும் எங்கள் அப்பாவுக்கு நோட்டை போய் பார்த்துட்டு, ஆமா ஆச்சு நீ செஞ்சது தப்பு தான், பச்சைங்கெல்லாம் நீ எழுதக்கூடாது, அதுக்கு தான் அவனுக்கு அடிச்சிருப்பாரு அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க. அப்போ நான் கேட்டேன், அப்போ பச்சைங்களை எழுதுனா என்னப்பா செய்யணும், யார் பச்சைங்களை எழுதுவாங்க அப்படின்னு நான் கேட்டேன். இப்போ எங்கள் அப்பா சொன்னாங்க, பச்சைங்களை கையெழுத்து எழுதணும் அப்படின்னா அதுக்கு தனியான படிப்பு இருக்குது. இப்போ உள்ள 6வது கிளாஸ்க்கு அப்போ கிடையாது. இப்போ 6வதுல தான் வந்து நம்ம இங்கிலீஷே படிக்க ஆரம்பிப்போம். அப்போது நான் கேட்டேன், என்ன படிப்பு படித்தா பச்சைங்களை எழுதணும் அப்போ அப்படின்னு. ப்ரொஃபஷனல் படிக்கணும், அதுக்கு டாக்டர் இன்ஜினியர் அந்த மாதிரி படிக்கணும், அப்போ தான் வந்து நம்ம அந்த பச்சைகளை எழுதணும். அப்போ எங்கள் அந்த சின்ன வயசுலேருந்து எப்படா பச்சைகளை படிப்போம் அப்படின்னு என்னோட ஆம்பிஷன், அதை வந்து லட்சியமாக ஆக்கிட்டேன். அதனால் இப்போவும் நான் யார் எங்கள் அப்பாவோட வந்து என் அட்வைஸும் கூட, யார் அட்டஸ்டேஷன் கேட்டாலும் தயங்காமல் போட்டு கொடுக்கணும். எஸ்பெஷலி ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வந்தால் உடனே செஞ்சு கொடுக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அதனால் நான் நிறைய நான் என் வயதை விட என் சர்வீஸை விட நான் வந்து ஒரு 1000கணக்கான பேருக்கு அதையும் தாண்டி அட்டஸ்டேஷன் போட்டு கொடுப்பேன். அந்த அளவுக்கு வந்து அது எனக்கு வந்து மனசில் வந்து ஒரு ஆறாக வலுவாக போச்சு. பெரும்பாலும் வந்து நம்ம வெட்டரி படிக்கிறவங்க வந்து ஃபஸ்ட்டு வந்து எபிபிஎஸ் கிடைக்கிறவங்க வெட்டரி போவாங்க. வெட்டரி பிடிச்சி படிக்கிறவங்க கொஞ்சம் பேர் தான் இருப்பாங்க. வெட்டரி போன பிறகு வேணால் நம்ம மைண்டை மாற்றிக்கலாம். அதுதான் மெஜாரிட்டி, அதான் உண்மையாக இருக்கும். ஏன்னா பொய் வேணால் நம்ம சொல்லிக்கலாம் மாற்றி எனக்கு வெட்டரி தான் பிடிச்சதுன்னு. இல்லை நான் வந்து படிக்கிற காலத்தில் எங்கள் ஸ்கூலுக்கு பக்கத்தில் நான் படித்ததெல்லாம் திருவாரூர், ஸ்கூலுக்கு பக்கத்தில் வெட்டரி ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் இருக்கும். அப்போ அங்கே போனோம்னா மாடு நான் கத்திட்டே இருக்கும். போய் வாசலில் போய் எட்டி பார்த்தா அங்கே உணவு நடத்துவாங்க, போகணும் நடத்துவாங்க. அது இப்போல்லாம் வந்து ஒரு 10 வயசு பையன் நம்ம ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் வந்தாங்க நம்ம பயந்து வேலை செய்வோம். ஏன்னா ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் போட்டோ பிடிச்சி போடுவோம். அவன்கிட்ட பேசுற ஒரு வார்த்தையில ஒரு செகண்ட்ல சிஎம் வரைக்கும் போகும், எம்சி வரைக்கும் போகும், சென்ட்ரல் வரைக்கும் போகும், பயப்படுவோம். ஆனால் அந்த காலத்துல நம்ம 10 வயசு ஸ்கூல் பிள்ளைங்க நம்ம போனாக்கா போகணும் நடத்துவாங்க. ஆனா ஒரே சத்தமா கேட்டுட்டே இருக்கும், பூனை கட்டுறது நாய் கட்டுறது ரொம்ப ஆசையா இருக்கும். இன்னும் நாங்கள் விடவே மாட்டாங்க. நீங்க என்னதான் செய்வாங்க, எதாவது பேசி ஒரு கெஞ்சு அண்ணா என்னன்னா போப்பா பண்ணிலாம் பார்க்கக்கூடாது அப்படிம்பாங்க. சரி அது ஒரு மைண்ட்ல வந்து ஒரு மறைமுகமான சரி வெட்டின எம்பிபிஎஸ் கிடைக்கலன்னா சரி எப்படியாவது வெட்டினரி படிச்சிடணும் அப்படின்னு நான் ஒரு லட்சியமா எடுத்துதான் இந்த வெட்டினரியை படித்தேன். சரி அதுதான் ஏதோ தட்டி விட்டு படிச்சு நம்ம பாஸ் பண்ணி வந்தாச்சு. எனக்கு பெரிய லெவலில் வந்து மடம் வாங்காம இருந்தாலும் இல்லை ஆவரேஜாக படித்து வந்தா கூட படித்து 95ல படித்து முடித்தேன். மே 95ல படித்து முடித்த பிறகு ஒரு எங்கள் அப்பா கூட ஒர்க் பண்ண ஒரு டீச்சர் தான். அவங்க வீட்டில் மாடெல்லாம் வச்சுருப்பாங்க. நான் அவங்க சார்ட்டு நான் படிச்சுக்கிறேன். நான் என்னோட 4வது வகுப்பு வந்து அவர்கிட்ட படிச்சுக்கிறேன். அவர் அப்போதான் ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ரிக்டாக இருப்பார். ஏதாவது ஒரு தப்பு செஞ்சுட்டா உடனே பெஞ்சு மேலே இருக்கணும். அப்போல்லாம் ஒரு பனிஷ்மெண்ட்டு கொக்கு பிடிக்கணும்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. கையும் காலையும் மாற்றி கிராஸாக வச்சு நிற்கணும். லேசாக பெண் பண்ணாலும் ஒரு அடி போடுவாங்க. அது வந்து ஒரு டைப் ஆஃப் யோகா மாதிரி தான். இப்போ செய்கிற யோகாவை தான் அப்போ தெரியாமல் நாங்கள் அப்படியே ஸ்ட்ரைட்டாக கொக்கு பிடிக்க சொல்லி கை காலை வச்சுட்டு அப்படி நிற்கணும். அவ்வளோ ஸ்ட்ரிக்டாக அவ்வளோ அப்போவே ஒரு மாட்டுக்கு உடம்பு சரின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. ஐயோ என்னடான்னு பயந்துட்டு அப்போ தான் படித்து முடிச்சுட்டு வந்தது. நான் ஒரு மே மாதம் 95 மே மாதம் முடிச்சுட்டு வந்தேன். வந்த ஒரு ஊர்லேருந்து வந்த உடனே அடுத்த நாளே என்னை கூப்பிட்டாங்க. ஐயோ இருக்க பேர் மாட்டிட்டுமே சொல்லி எங்கள் அப்பாலாம் வேற நீங்கள் போய் பாருன்னு சொன்னாங்க. சரி பயந்துட்டு போய் அங்கே பார்த்தா அது மாடு கண்ணு போய் மில்க் ஃபீவர். சரி ஏதோ தெரிஞ்சவொடனே மருந்தெல்லாம் எழுதி கொடுத்து சார் வந்து மருந்தெல்லாம் வாங்க மாட்டார். கவர்மெண்ட்டில் போய் கஞ்சமாக இருப்பாருன்னு நினச்சிட்டு நிறைய ஒரு லிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் மெடிசன் எழுதி கொடுத்தாரு. அவர் உடனே போய் வாங்கிட்டு வந்துட்டார். நான் ஒரு சைட்டில் மருந்தெல்லாம் வாங்கிட்டோமா நீ வாமா அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஃபோன் அப்போ லேண்ட்லைன் ஃபோன் பண்ணாங்க. சரி நான் ஒரு சைக்கிள் எடுத்துகிட்டு போனேன். அவங்க ஊருக்கு போனேன். போயிட்டு ஒரு ஐவிலாம் போட்டு எல்லாம் முடிச்சுட்டேன். போட்டுட்டு சும்மா அப்படி ஒவ்வொரு இடமா பேசிட்டு ஊர்லாம் சுற்றிட்டு வீட்டுக்கு ஒரு 1/2 மணி நேரம் கழிச்சு வர பின்னாடியே அந்த சார் அவங்க ஒய்ஃப் வர்றாங்க. நான் அப்படியே வீட்டில் இருந்து அவரை பார்த்து குரலை பார்த்து ஓடி போயிட்டேன். ஏன்னா எங்கள் சொந்தக்காரங்க கூட எங்கள் வாத்தியாரும் கூட எங்கள் அப்பா அம்மாலாம் ஃப்ரெண்டு. நான் வந்து எங்கள் அம்மாவை கூப்பிட்டு அம்மாம்மா நான் இப்போதான் போய் ஊசி போட்டு வந்தேன், நீ ஏதாவது நீ சொல்லி சமாளிச்சுக்கமா. நான் உண்மையை நடந்த உண்மைதான். எங்கள் அம்மா அம்மா நீ ஏதாவது சமாளிச்சுக்கமா, நான் இப்படி எதாவது வெளியே போயிட்டேன்னு சொல்லிடுமா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நான் வெளியே போனேன். நான் போனது இப்போ உள்ள கான்சியஸ் அப்போ இருந்தாக்க ப்ராக்டிஸாக தப்பிச்சிருப்பேன். அப்போ தெரியாமல் நான் அப்படி போகிறப்ப எங்கள் சார் பார்த்தேன். துதோ பாப்பா பாப்பா போகுது என் பேர் என் நிக்னேம் வந்து பாப்பி. வீட்டில் பாப்பி தான் போகும்போது என்னை பிடிச்சிட்டாங்க. அப்படின்னு நட்டிங்க. ஐயோ சாதாரண ஹோம்ஒர்க்கு வேலை சார் இது மாடு செத்துக்கிட்டு போச்சுன்னா ஐயோ நான் இருக்க முடியாது அப்படின்னு நட்டிங்க. நான் அது மாதிரி என் வாழ்நாள் நான் நடுனதே கிடையாது. இன்ன வரைக்கும் அந்த மாதிரி நடக்குது நான் பார்த்தது. இப்போ நினச்சாலே எனக்கு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கு உடம்பே. அப்படின்னு கேட்டால் அப்படியே சரி எதாவது பரவாயில்ல சரி சமாளிச்சுக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நான் அப்படியே போயிட்டு இருந்தேன். அப்படியே அந்த சாரும் அவங்க டீச்சரும் அவங்க ஒய்ஃபும் வந்து என்னை அப்படியே தூக்கிட்டாங்க. அம்மா நான் அந்த மாடு என்ன ஆகிடுமோ நினச்சேம்மா. இப்போதாம்மா இருந்துச்சு தண்ணி குடிக்குது நல்லா நிற்குதுமா. நான் அப்போதான் எனக்கு நிம்மதியாக வந்துச்சு. அப்பா தப்பிச்சுட்டேன். என்டையே இருந்துச்சு. அதற்கு பிறகுதான் நான் திருவாரூர்ல அப்போ பஞ்சாப் டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட்ல இருந்துச்சு. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வெட்டினரி கிளினிக் பிரைவேட்ல ஒரு போர்டு வச்சது. கிளினிக்னா ஒரு பெரிய இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர்லாம் கிடையாது. சாதாரண இது மாதிரி ஒரு போர்டு அப்போ வச்சது வந்து 95 மேல நான் தான் வச்சேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அந்த டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட்ல அந்த வச்சுதான் அந்த யூபிஎஸ் இன்டர்வியூக்கு அந்த போட்டோலாம் காமிச்சேன். ஒருவேளை அதனால செலக்ட் பண்ணாங்கன்னு தெரியும். எனக்கு அது கூட ஒரு காரணமா இருக்கலாம். அப்புறம் அந்த சார் டீச்சர்லாம் அவங்கெல்லாம் ஸ்கூல் டீச்சர்ஸ்ன்றதுனால மாதம் மீட்டிங் நடக்கும். எங்கள் அப்பா அம்மாவும் டீச்சர். அந்த மீட்டிங்கில் போய் அவங்க சொன்னாங்களாம், என்கிட்ட படித்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டு நான் தான் அவங்க படித்தாங்க, அவங்க மாதிரி டாக்டர் ஆகுறாங்க, இவ்வளோ நல்லா செய்கிறாங்க, நம்ம அது எங்களுக்கு பெருமையாக இருக்குன்னு சொன்னாங்க. அதை எங்கள் அப்பா அம்மாலாம் சொல்லி ரொம்ப பெருமைப்பட்டாங்க. அது இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் உற்சாகமாக இருந்துச்சு. அதை பார்த்துட்டு எங்கள் டிஸ்ட்ரிக்டில் தஞ்சாவூர் டிஸ்ட்ரிக்டில் அப்போ உள்ள டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்டோட ஜாயின்ட் டைரக்டர் எனக்கு வந்து ஒரு எல்என் கண்டெய்னர் 35 லிட்டர்ஸ் கண்டெய்னரு ஃப்ரீயாகவே 35 லிட்டர்ஸ் கண்டெய்னரு, அப்புறம் ஒரு 11 லிட்டர் கண்டெய்னர், 3 லிட்டர் கண்டெய்னர் 3 கொடுத்தாங்க. அப்புறம் நான் கிளினிக் வச்சு அது ரொம்ப ஃபேமஸாக இருந்துச்சு. அதனால் எந்த ஒரு இப்போ எதுக்குனாக்க எந்த ஒரு செயலாக இருந்தாலும் நமக்கு வந்து ஒரு இனிஷியேட்டிவ் யாராவது கொடுக்கணும், நம்மளை என்கரேஜ் பண்ணணும். அது பண்ணாதான் நம்மளால் வந்து அது கடைசி வரைக்கும் நல்லா செய்ய முடியுன்றதுக்கு அதுலேருந்து தான் எனக்கு ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகிச்சு. சரி நம்மளும் நம்மளால் முடிஞ்ச நல்லது செய்யணும் அப்படின்றதுனால தான் இருக்கிறேன். இப்போ சார்லாம் சொன்னாங்க இங்கே வந்து நிறைய செய்கிறோம் போனோம், அது நம்மளுடைய டெண்டன்சியாக தான் நம்ம பிஹேவியரே நம்மளால் முடிஞ்ச நல்லது செய்யணும். இன்னும் ஒரு நாங்கள் இப்போ வந்து கூட சொன்னாங்க சார், இந்த 11 மாதம் தான் நாங்கள் சம்பளம் வாங்கினோம், 1 மாதம் வந்து பிப்ரவரி வரைக்கும் தான் வாங்கினோம், மார்ச்சுக்கு இல்லைன்னு அப்போ கூட சொன்னேன் சார். இந்த முறை எப்படியாவது நம்ம பட்ஜெட்டில் போய் பேசி அட்லீஸ்ட் 12 மாதமாவது நம்ம சேலரிக்கு பட்ஜெட்டில் கிராண்டிங் வாங்கிடணும் சார் டீன்கிட்ட கூட சொன்னேன். அது கண்டிப்பாக இந்த முறை செய்யறதுக்கு நம்ம முயற்சி பண்ணணும். அது இல்லாமல் நம்ம ப்ரொஃபஸர் சார் ராம்குமார் சார் சொன்னாங்க இந்த மாதிரி டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்லேருந்து எல்லாம் நிறைய பேர் வரணும்னு. ஆனால் எங்கள் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்டில் நாங்கள் சிங்கிளாக வந்தால் கூட எப்போவுமே சிங்கிளாக தானே வரும். நாங்கள் 4 பேர் வந்தாங்க, எங்கள் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் 40 பேருக்கு நாங்கள் சொன்னோம். அவங்களோட இன்ஃபோர்ஸ் அத்தனையும் நாங்கள் சொல்லுவோம். சில பேர் சில வேலைகளாக இன்னைக்கு சனிக்கிழமை போயிட்டாங்க, எனக்கு அதுவும் வருத்தமாக தான் இருந்துச்சு. இருந்தாலும் அடுத்தடுத்த முறையில் வந்து இதை விட நம்ம பெரிய லெவலில் நம்ம செய்யணுன்றது என்னுடைய எண்ணம். இந்த வாய்ப்பு கொடுத்தவங்க அத்தனை பேருக்கும் இந்த கதையை கேட்டதுக்கு திரையின் சார்பு அத்தனை பேர் சார்பு நன்றி வணக்கம் தெரிவிக்கிறேன்.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your childhood memories and what led you to be a veterinarian. I request Dean Dr. V. Sayan to felicitate Director Ma'am, Dr. G. Lata Mangeshkar. I request all the veterinarians who have graced this occasion to come up on stage and receive a memento from our chief guest for the day, Director Dr. G. Lata Mangeshkar. So I request by one all veterinarians to kindly come up on stage. I request the faculty of River and the field veterinarians to kindly come up on stage. I also request all the student volunteers for the day to come forward and collect a memento.
We have to like turn it like this.
I also request speakers Dr. S. Ramkumar, Dr. Senthil Kumar and Dr. Sudhakaran to come up on stage and collect a memento.
Sarika. அது அந்த
I request Dr. Avinash Lakavar, Associate Patron, Students' Council River, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, respected director, respected dean, the joint directors, veterinary assistant surgeons from the animal husbandry department, all the faculty members of the river,
Very good afternoon to one and all, and a very happy World Veterinary Day today. We all have assembled for this great day. Before I begin the vote of thanks, I must inform that today being the World Veterinary Day, we organized a very good rally in the beach today for the public awareness. So the day began with that rally, so I must propose the vote of thanks first of all from that term onwards. First of all, I thank the Animal Husbandry Director and Dean for the constant encouragement during the entire process. Then I thank the police permission and the media which has given, and then the vehicle section which has made all arrangements for the transport of students from the hostel complex to the venue. And all the students who have participated in great number, and all the faculty members as well as the contract faculty members who participated. Then we had this great afternoon. Then we had, after this we have a quiz competition, for which I thank the Dr. Nayanan Jacob and his team for organizing the quiz competition for the students of the river, including the postgraduate students. Then I thank all the students who are going to give some good performance in the form of the entertainment program which we have proposed. So I thank them also. Then I thank Dr. Srinivasan and his company for, his team for the live streaming and the coverage which is going live for this event. Then I thank the engineering cell for making all the arrangements. Then most importantly, all the office bearers of the student council who had tirelessly worked this. In fact, I have not done anything. Only the student members or the office bearers, they have really put on all their efforts, and I wish all of you to give a big round of applause for them. They have really worked hard. Then, at the last, but very important, my team comprising of Dr. Nitya, Dr. Uma, Dr. Raji, then Dr. Raj Lakshmi, and Dr. Vigneshwari as well as Dr. Kasturi, who has really worked very hard to make this function a great success. At the last, on my personal behalf, I would like to say that if there were any shortcomings in the programs, that should be put up into my account, and if the program has become a great success, then all the credit goes to my team. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
Thank you, sir. I request everyone to join for a cup of tea and return in around 10 minutes. We'll be starting the quiz competition for the students.
Since we have proposed a formal vote of thanks, please don't leave, because we need all of you to be back in 10 minutes here, because some exciting events are going to happen. Let's have a fun tomorrow anyway, it is on holiday. Please be sure you are coming back in 10 minutes and reassembling in this hall.